the longer you wait in life to get to a certain point, I guess you want to say, whether that's financially, emotionally, or mentally, the harder your life is going to be, and the less of it you're going to get to enjoy. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hey. Essay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're running out of gin.
I'm going to be sick of Tom Collins by the time this is over.
That's not possible.
That's probably true.
I think he's really good, personally.
Oh, your story's going to be interesting. Okay, here's what we're going to get into. We're going to get, boom, mixing cup.
Yeah.
Roku gin. Beautiful, beautiful. Get out my shot a little bit here. I'm going to put some ice in this guy. Ooh. A little more ice. I know a lot of bartenders.
Ah. Ooh, look at that fog.
Okay, gin time.
Yeah.
1.5 ounces for me, 1.5 ounces for you. This was full when we started.
It was, well,
I hope Mom doesn't watch this.
Mom doesn't have the patience for this.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. She does. I
know.
Love you, Mom.
We love you.
Pour us another shot.
We appreciate your judgmental posts on Facebook.
Kinda. Please stop telling me to contact you in the comments. Like, please.
Like, please. All right.
I have a phone number. Just call me.
Just call me. Simple syrup.
We doing a full 1.5 ounces of that too?
Pretty much.
Okay, good. Because Skinny Tom was a nasty bitch.
He was not good.
He wasn't good. Excuse my language. Yeah! Now shake.
Shake that sucker.
Shake, Sonora. All right. That's enough.
That's enough shaking. All right. You know what I always forget? I always forget to put the ice in these guys.
But I think it's better that you did it this way.
Is it? Why is that?
Because the ice won't melt as fast. Like, the ice doesn't have as much time to melt.
Good job. Give you just a little more ice.
That's definitely enough ice for me.
Enough ice for both of us.
We don't need this filler.
All right. Here we go. Let's get fancy here.
Don't forget. Half.
Half and half. Woo, we're making a mess.
Oh gosh. It's got the rose.
Now it's coming back out again. Oh my gosh, this is the worst pour we've done.
Oh no.
Struggle City. Here we go, there we go, there we go. Ah, come on. We can get some more out.
Oh Lord.
You get more again.
At the end there, it seemed like it was gonna be close, but
I thought so too. I really did.
that's all right. That looks pretty good still.
It does look really good.
I mean, we've had quite a few of these by now. So.
The measurements.
That one looks really good. Like, it looks consistent actually in both of them.
We'll give it a little stir with the stir sticky. Another little stir with the stir sticky.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And then a lemon wedge. All right, we're not clanking this time, right? Because these things
not clanking. They just, it makes me feel cheap.
It does. They're not good clanking glasses. Disappointed there, but hey, these look delicious.
They do.
So, cheers to you, good sir.
Zoop that.
Yeah, fix that.
Cheers to you.
I think that's the best one yet.
That is. It just tastes like water. But it's crazy that if you get like the sugar wrong, it doesn't. It tastes really, really bad.
It does. I don't think water's the way to describe it.
What does it taste like to you?
Kind of like a lemonade with little lemonade.
Lemonade.
A lemonade with a like juniper, like a little bit of juniper in there.
Like a florally water.
Like a florally lemonade.
I don't know if I believe lemonade, but maybe. Maybe I just need to squeeze more lemon.
That's lemon, club soda, and sugar. I mean, that's correct me wrong. That's pretty much what a lemonade is. Try that.
Yeah, I taste the lemon a little bit more. Actually, hand me that stirrer. I wonder, Ben, if you put the club soda in the glass first and then pour the mixture, because the soda bubbles, and so it will mix itself a little bit, and then when you stir, here you go, almost just toss that. And then when you stir, it'll be like really mixed.
Yeah. Well, if we have to do take number 5 today, we'll do that.
No, this is delicious.
I know, and I think we got everything right this time.
I think so.
Let's tell some stories.
Let's tell some stories.
Hell yeah,
I feel like that'll be good, yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Clink.
That is really good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well, it's not really a show. I don't know what the hell this is. Is it like an interview, like a hangout with friends, tell stories? Here's some cool stuff. So that's what this is. So we hear stories from people such as yourself, and I'm super excited to hear some of those. But before we get started, I want to hear a little bit about where you're from and what you're doing in Farmington, New Mexico.
Man, well, I'm from here. I was born and raised in Kirtland, New Mexico, and that's where I grew up, and that's where I learned how to be me, I suppose you could say. I was away from New Mexico, but now I'm back because I want to become a nurse, and I want to have a different type of lifestyle than I've had in the past, and just kind of do a different thing with my life. And so that's what's brought me back to New Mexico, is the Opportunity Scholarship, because as long as you're a resident of New Mexico for 12 months, your tuition is pretty much completely paid for.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it is really awesome. It's an opportunity, and it's one I couldn't pass by, so it's one I decided to go with.
No, that's great. That's really great to hear. It's great to have you back. It's super nice to see you back here in New Mexico. You've been gone for how many years now?
I think it was 5 years. And I know that when I first left, a lot of people were telling me, you'll be gone for a month, or we'll see you in 6 months, or we'll see you in a year. And that actually may have prolonged me from coming back even longer, just to spite people, because I like to do things out of spite. Mm-hmm. And so
always a healthy characteristic.
Yeah, when you can remember things, you can use that for whatever you desire. And so, no, I'm just kidding. But actually, I did use that to stay out in Texas a little bit longer than I probably should have, just because the longer you wait in life to get to a certain point, I guess you want to say, whether that's financially, emotionally, or mentally, the harder your life is going to be, and the less of it you're going to get to enjoy. And so I guess in my mind, the balance just kind of tipped one day, and I'm like, all right, I'm sick of living day to day. I want to add a little bit of long term in there, and so that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm back.
Okay. So you were living in Texas. Where were you living in Texas?
I was living in New Braunfels, and that's about halfway in between San Antonio and Austin. So it's actually one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. I don't know if it's number one. I think it might be number one. You can Google it. It's New Braunfels, Texas, spelt funny. And when I left here, Farmington, New Mexico was actually one of the fastest shrinking cities in the United States. And New Braunfels is just this really cool place. It's got a river there, but the river there is a lot different than here. Here it's it's really fast moving and kind of muddy, but there it's really clear. You can see all the way down to the riverbed, and you can see fish and everything, but it's super slow. So I don't know, it was just the complete opposite of Farmington, and that's where I went, and that's what it is. If you are ever going to Texas, especially Austin area, definitely look for New Braunfels. It's fun. They've got especially if you like country music, they've got a lot of country live music. They've got wineries, all kinds of stuff.
What do you you said you came back for the Opportunity Scholarship. What made you leave for Texas? Why did you leave New Mexico?
Well, I left New Mexico because my cousin Karis, she helped me get out of Farmington, and she and I never really connected because she's quite a bit older than me. And when I say quite a bit, I mean like more than just like a few years. She's like at least a decade older than I am, and so her and I, when my grandmother, and my grandfather, they used to always throw like trips for all of their grandchildren. They'd take their grandchildren all over the United States. And so I never got to go with Karis because she was always so much older than me. And by the time I started to be, when I was old enough to go, she was already too old and she wasn't going anymore. And so finally in about 2016, I went to a family reunion and Karis had shown up. She'd been gone for a few of them, but she showed up to this one. And I was finally an adult. And so I got to like, have like more adult conversations, and I felt like really just kind of be acknowledged by more people. The older you get, the more people acknowledge you. And so her and I really connected, and she invited me to go visit her in Texas. And I went out there and I visited her in Texas. And while I was visiting her, I was having such a great time. I met the man that I'm currently, in love with and have lived with for the past 5 years.
How'd you guys meet?
Shady question. So while I was in Texas hanging out with Karis, her and her husband George, they had busy lives. It wasn't like I just came over and they dropped everything and we hung out. They still had their lives. So they were busy during the day, and I was like, well, I'm here. I've got my own vehicle. I finally got out of Farmington, and I'm a gay man. I'm going to find some strange. I was like, this is the perfect place. I was like, I have so much selection. I'm new to town, so I know guys are going to be like into me because they don't see me, around. And so I got on there, and sure enough, like guys were hitting me up and liking my profile, and I was liking theirs back. And then I saw Ken, and he's like this bigger guy, and he's got this cowboy hat on and this full red goatee, and he's looking real like, I don't know, country cowboy masculine dude, So I was like, oh yeah, all right, let's do this, So I was like, hey man, what's up, And then we got to talking for a few days. And so, I am still in Texas, and I've been around the block a few times, so I know to not sexually, mom, sorry. But I know not to just go meet somebody in another town without having anybody there with you or anybody knowing who this person is. You don't meet strangers off the internet, or you do, but you be safe about it. So Karis was throwing a party that Saturday, and I decided to invite him over that Saturday. And he came over, and it's like 10:30 at night. The party's already been going for a minute. And I go out there, and he says, hi, I am Ken. And I was like, oh, all right. And I brought him inside.
So he wasn't masculine at all.
No. Ken is, I wouldn't say he's like super feminine. He has masculine moments and stuff like that, but he's definitely likes his soft things and his his pink things and that sort of stuff. And so, he has embraced, and this is one of the things I love about Ken the most, is he has embraced his gay culture way more than I have. And when you do that, it's really an expression of love of yourself and for who you are, and just owning exactly who you are. And I try to do that more and more and more, and Ken has really taught me to do that. But anyway, so I bring Ken in, bring him into the party, and this straight guy who is there with his wife, with his 2 kids, is like slapping everybody's ass, and he slaps my butt, and kind of gets a little wiggly with the finger, which is like, what are you doing? Like, what the hell? We're gay guys, right? Like, what are you inviting us? Well, anyways, then he goes and slaps Ken's ass, and I was like, oh, that's not cool, And then me and that guy kind of like were like being like, dude, stop it. And he's like, well, what are you gonna do? And I was like, well, we're just gonna leave because no violence isn't really my thing. So I was like, well, F you, we're out, And so Ken and I left that place, and we went to a bear bar, and normally it's just like a bar that, guys go to hang out or whatever, and it's a gay bar. But this night just happened to be leather night, so I walk in and everybody's in like harnesses and assless chaps and no shirts anywhere that you look, and nobody had shirts on and stuff. So it's crazy. So then, we hung out and we did okay, and then we left. And anyway, to make a long story short, because it's kind of trailing off, I ended up going home with Ken that night, and I stayed with him for like 3 out of the remaining 5 days of my vacation. And so that's how I met Ken. And it was just an instant connection. Like everywhere we went, even though it was like awkward situations and awkward moments in each one, it was just, we were both able to just like shrug it, move past it, and still connect. And those kinds of people are really rare.
That's awesome. That's super exciting. So, you and Ken, you hooked up in Texas.
Yeah.
And then where did it go? How did you guys end up together? Because it sounded like it was just a grinder date, a one-night stand type of plan, and you're still 5 years later hanging out together, dating, engaged, ready to get married soon. How did that end up?
I was still left with the intention of wanting to move there. So a couple months go by, and I planned to move there in May, and I had visited her in February. So that was like the time frame, February to May. And so like March it comes around, and my mom talks to me and she's like, hey, Karis is going through some stuff right now, and she's not in a position where she can take you in and fulfill her, what she had said. I wasn't able to move in with her, and Ken and I this whole time had been talking, and we were talking with the intention of dating. Anyway, I told Ken, I'm not going to be able to move in with Karis, but I'm still going to try to figure out a way to get out there. And Ken offered to let me come and move in with him because he had 6 more months on his lease, and he was with a roommate. And so he said, well, just come out here. You can't bring your dog right away because it's a no pets apartment, but you can move out here. And so even though against other people's opinions, of like, that's really dangerous, or what are you going to do if you go out there and then 2 weeks later you guys are angry at each other and break up?
Right. Because that's a pretty big risk. I mean, to move, 1,000 miles away, not know anybody. I mean, the only person you know probably is not in the best mental or health.
Yeah, in no position to help you for sure.
Yeah, there's nobody to help you, so you're really you're putting it all on the line and just going to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
All right. How did it play out?
I mean, that's how I live my life. I like to see how things play out. I like to take a little bit of risk, and I don't know, if you die, you die, but I don't think that was like a life-threatening situation. But I don't know, when you know in certain situations, and I like to say that about Ken. And the reason I say that is because, and I'm sorry, Ken, but when Ken and I were talking over the phone, we didn't just like have good times the whole entire time we were talking. We had arguments too. But the fact is that after we had arguments, we would still talk to each other. Like, we had no reason to do that, right? Like, This person's, like you said, 1,000 miles away. If I don't agree with them and they're being a jackass or, an arsehole, I'm going to just go ahead and ghost them or tell them to FO and that's it. But no, Ken and I were both able to, talk out our differences of opinions or our arguments and work past it. And I just knew that that was the kind of stability I needed. I needed to be able to completely 100% disagree with somebody, them disagree with me, have the full conversation, neither of us change our minds, and both still get along and love each other at the end of the day. Right. And that's what I had with Ken, even 1,000 miles away, and that's what I have with him now when he's right next to me. So
what was your life like before you moved to Texas? What was going on? What was the path you were heading down?
I had definitely made a lot of mistakes. When I was about 16, I moved out of the house. I decided that I didn't want to follow my parents' rules. And they were pretty much they've always kind of been like, well, if you don't like the rules of our house, you need to get out. And so I don't know if that was like an empty threat, but like they were really upset when we all got out. Like, I'm just saying, like it was never like, well, then you can get out, we leave, and then they were cool with it. They were like, no, you need to come back. Come back.
Mom, you really don't sound like that, just so you know.
No, my mom does not sound whiny or anything like that. I moved out when I was 16. I got into some situations that I really just shouldn't have been in, and just kind of like messed up a lot there. And then I went to jail. And when I went to jail, the 10 days, my whole life kind of fell apart while I was in jail. I got kicked out of my house. My car got repossessed, and I pretty much I had done some stupid stuff, and so I didn't really have very many friends either.
So you really hit rock bottom, like you pretty much lost everything at that point.
Yeah, I would say that was pretty rock bottom. I did some stuff after that too, but but I would say that was like I've had a few different rock bottoms.
So you're saying you hit rock bottom and then you started drilling deeper.
I mean, I hit rock. I like have there's different categories of life, right? There's there's the drugs, there's the careers, there's all the different things, all the different ways you can mess up your life. There's really so many different ways. And,
just pick one.
And I definitely tried a few different types, I was like, hey, I'm a connoisseur of fuck up your life, let me try that one out a little bit. Then I went to jail. I was like, okay, well, this is messed up. Got out of jail, and, I didn't feel close with anybody, especially family. Definitely wasn't close with them. So I ended up living with these two other dudes in a single cab truck, and we slept sitting up for a few days.
Single cab truck.
Truck. The seats did not lean back. We all sat sitting up, and those two guys were straight as fuck too. There was nothing sexual going on there. We were just really uncomfortable.
Where did you find two other dudes to live with in a single cab truck?
No, they had homes. They had homes.
Why were they in the cab?
It didn't make any sense. I don't know. They wanted to hang out, but they also didn't want to sleep. I don't think they wanted to let me sleep at their house, right? Because they both live with their parents. So I was like, okay, I can't sleep there, right? But one of you or both of you can go inside and I'll sleep in the truck, right? But no.
They thought you were going to steal their truck, didn't they?
No, it was because we had gone and we had stolen money from some guy, and so we were just hanging out, and I don't know. They just I don't know what their deal was. I can't really tell you why they didn't drive us somewhere and at least one person go inside and go sleep. I don't know.
Nobody slept, put a mattress in the bed of the truck to sleep or anything?
No, we didn't have a mattress. I don't, just sat there. And Mexico too is hot. It's hot as fuck right now. No, but
all right. So you make your way out of the truck.
But so you asked me what was my life like, before Texas, and so that was the dark moments, right? The truck is when I realized, okay, it doesn't get much lower than this, other than the four tires are gone, and I'm literally sleeping on the sidewalk next to these three guys,
Right.
But at least then I can lay down. I don't know if that's worse, So that was that, and so I was like, okay, this is effed, I swallowed my pride. I moved back in with my parents, and I lived with them for, I want to say about 2 or 3 months, if that. Maybe it was only a month. I really can't stand living with my parents. I love my parents to death, but they have so much that they just expect for you to do and for you to act and just they have rules. They have rules at their house. It didn't change from when I was 16 to when I was 18. It was the same rules, the same thing, and so I ended up just working. Hanging out with other friends. It was just dead-end job after dead-end job, not liking this at all. I'm sick of being broke and lonely. And so then my dad had bought some properties at the time, and that was a nightmare too. But he was like, so you could come work for me, and you can help me remodel these houses, and I'll and pay me rent. So it wasn't like I could live there for free. He did make me pay rent and live in the house that we were remodeling, which was like, I don't know. I love you, Dad, but wow. That was a fucked up place to live. That was the ghetto.
That was the ghetto.
I thought I lived in the ghetto when I lived behind Tibbetts High School by Apache, and I was like, this is kind of sketchy, But man, that house was something else. Anyways, we're not getting into all that here. But it was rough. So, and that's why I got out of New Mexico.
But there was some fun times, right? Like you traveled across the country.
I've prioritized fun in my life the whole time. I don't think I've ever not prioritized having a little bit of fun. I think that you don't have to have money to have fun. There's no like specific scenario you need to be in that to have fun. You can have fun doing anything. And so, yeah, I felt like that was what I was doing with most of my younger adult life, was just doing whatever I felt like doing in the moment, having fun. Whether that was just like sitting on the couch or hopping in the Jeep and going across country.
I feel like your priorities and your focus has changed. Since you've come back, you're not the same Jacob that left. I would say you're
I'm definitely different. Yeah.
You're definitely different. You're a lot more focused. You're a lot more driven towards what you want to do. Like you definitely, nobody's telling you what to do. You're going to do what you're going to fucking do. But
well, I've always been like that.
Yeah, you have. But that hasn't changed. That's what I'm trying to say. That hasn't changed at all.
Yeah.
But now your goal isn't what's happening tonight. Your goal is now what's happening 6 months down the road, 12 months. It seems like your vision's getting further out there.
Yeah, I'm definitely more goal oriented now. I have an actual goal, and really I didn't have a goal until about 6 months ago, I want to say. Mm-hmm. And I think that has been a big change. But I think the main thing is, I don't just think about what I want to do now. And I think that's the bigger thing, is because before it was just like, what do I want to do today? What do I want to do tomorrow? But now it's like, what do I want to do with Ken, or what do I want to do for Ken, or what experiences can we make?
It's very interesting as you talk about this. Stephanie, you were here for an interview.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about living in the moment. just enjoying the moment. And it like doesn't matter the money. It doesn't matter where you're at. Just enjoying and being in that moment. And that's something that I'm the exact opposite of you on. You've been a very much in the moment person. Like, live for the moment, the emotions of the moment, the pleasures, the pain, the happiness. Like that's how you live. Where I've realized I've always lived 6 to 12 months out, 6 to 24 months out, 5 years out. I've realized every day I'm not working for today, I'm working for the future, and it's been a very eye-opening experience for me to live in the moment, to realize how much happiness and stuff I'm missing as I work. As I go day to day. I'm always living in tomorrow and the next day and the next, however far out. But then, I realize I miss so much of that spontaneousness, that fun, that excitement that just kind of has passed me by. Even when, I'm on trips or when I'm on vacation, like, my mind's not on vacation. Yeah. My mind's at work, my mind's at all these different places in the future, and hey, I hate going on vacation because I don't enjoy like the sights and sounds of vacation. I'm like, how could I?
That don't sound fun.
I know. Like, how could I live here? How could I invest here? How could I get a property? How could I do all these different things? It's like I'm thinking like, what could I do with in 2 years or a year to make my life different? It's like, why am I not just enjoying here? Why am I not just enjoying what's going on around me and not thinking about that stuff? That stuff is not happening now. It's important to think about your future, I feel, still. Yeah. But at the same time, like, I feel like I've missed so many opportunities with my daughters, with my wife, and with all these other things where I haven't been able to live in that moment. So that's where this has been nice, because it's been able to talk to you, to all these other people, Steph, Michael, and hopefully a lot more people as this goes on, and to be able to just kind of enjoy the moment and the experiences and that glimpse in time that I'll never be able to get back. So anyway, I appreciate you saying that, because that was something that Steph brought up too. It's something that's kind of becoming a reoccurring thing. So I don't know if somebody's trying to tell me something. Like, hey, slow down.
I watched the video and I brought it back up.
What would you say to somebody that's going through some of maybe your darker days, that has hit rock bottom, is keeping drilling? What would you tell that person?
Eventually it all fades out and it doesn't seem like that big of a deal anymore. For me, even though it was definitely rock bottom, and at the time I was brokenhearted and miserable, but now I don't even know. It doesn't even seem like it matters that much to me anymore. Like, there's so many other things to focus on. You only have so much time in every day to think about things. And I don't know, thinking about pain and trying to remember something you can't remember is just a waste of your time.
So for somebody that loves you, would there have been anything they could have done or said, or was it something that they just would have had to kind of leave you on your own to sort out for yourself?
Be accessible, be available. Likely, you know, the most you're going to get is a hangout session, and when they hang out, they don't really, well, at least for me, at the time didn't really want to talk about anything.
Right.
I just wanted to just hang out and kind of pretend like none of it existed, and everybody talks about things on their own time, so just be there and just give them time. You saying anything necessarily won't help. The best thing to do is listen and be ready to listen. And so
shut your mouth and be quiet.
Just shut your mouth and just hang out and maybe tell a joke. You know, like lighten the mood a little bit, tell a joke, and chill out. I think that family and friends can definitely influence your life before and after that point. But when you're at that point, the only one that's going to help you is you.
Fair. Super fair. Super great insights, man. I really appreciate you sharing these.
Well, I hope some of it's useful.
maybe it will be. Maybe there's somebody out there going through the same thing you're going through or went through, and you know, I'm super excited to see where your future takes you and how nursing school goes and the cool places you travel to. You've already been to a lot of cool places, and I'm sad we couldn't touch on those stories and stuff. Maybe in another time. But yeah, no, thank you. This has been awesome. It's been a really great experience. One of the best stories I've heard, and you know, super glad you're back in New Mexico.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm back too.
So
there's rough moments, but I'm glad I'm back.
Right on, man. Well, anything else you want to finish on or let people know?
Tom Collins, don't make him skinny, make him fat.
And on that note, thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate you. Have a good night.